How are we, everybody? It is Thursday night. It's the Anfield Agenda. I'm your host, Craig, and you're very welcome along to tonight's show. Guys, we have a lot to get through. I'm going to start with a rather serious note, and I'll get there in a moment. I just want to say hello to everybody that's in the chat. It's always a pleasure to come in and see names here waiting for us to start the show. We've been doing this almost a year now, and every single time I go on to turn on the computer to start the show, I worry that nobody's going to be there. But you wonderful people never let me down, so thank you so much for that support. Kyle is in, Mark is in, MUFC Phil is in, John Hamilton, Tom Boland, VA Van Dyke, Prez Salah, Brian O'Reilly. Who else we got? Daly Van Das, John Hamilton, I said, Liam Granby. If I've missed anybody there, I'm sorry. Paul Turner, I tried to go through everybody's names. Guys, look, I want to start tonight's show on a serious note. You guys know that I despise violence in football, as do 99.99% of the population of the world. I'm sure you guys have seen, but unfortunately there's been more bad news on this front. A 44-year-old Manchester United fan has sadly been stabbed in the chest in Paris after the fantastic result for Manchester United against Paris Saint-Germain last night. So this gentleman was travelling back in a taxi with three other friends from the stadium into the city centre, I believe. They were singing songs in the cab. And this is just, I'm taking this from Sky Sports News again, so if there's any missed details, I apologise. They were singing songs in the back of the taxi, celebrating what was a momentous win. Sky have got as far as to call that the miracle in Paris, whatever way you want to describe it. Set of football fans in a cab on the way home. And the taxi driver didn't take too kindly to Manchester United fans singing and celebrating. So he pulled the cab over. He told them to get out. He pulled a knife on a lady who was travelling with the group. And this 44-year-old gentleman stepped in to make sure that the lady wasn't attacked. And he was stabbed in the chest, callously and cowardly, by a taxi driver. Now, as well as this hitting home to all of us because it's a football stabbing or a football assault, I'm a former taxi driver. I cannot comprehend what would go through this man's head. I cannot get my head around it. There is absolutely nothing that somebody could say to me without physical violence coming my way to make me attack somebody that was a passenger in my taxi. I cannot get my head around this. Once again, unfortunately, we're dealing with a situation where the ugly side of football has come out. Manchester United fans were over there travelling, supporting their team. We've seen a Manchester City fan sadly attacked a couple of weeks ago in Germany as well. This is getting out of hand. This man was callously stabbed in the chest by a scumbag taxi driver just because he didn't like what he was hearing in the back of the cab about his team losing and these fans celebrate their team's victory. This is sport, ladies and gentlemen. This is sport. I'm going to repeat that. This is fucking sport. That's all this is. This isn't a matter of life and death. This isn't people coming attacking your family. These are people travelling to enjoy a city, enjoy a spectacle, follow their team. Yes, there's a certain amount of tribalism that goes into this. But where does the humanity come into it? I am absolutely sick to death of coming and reading this shit day after day after day. It's creeping its way back into football. There's been numerous instances of it in Italy over the past couple of seasons as well. And I'm not pinpointing Italy. It's happening absolutely everywhere. The Manchester City fan that I said that was callously attacked after Manchester City beat Schalke recently as well. There is no rivalry in these situations, ladies and gentlemen. I say it time and time and time again. I'm a fan of football. You're all fans of football. We stick together as fans, show unity, show respect. My heart is gone out to the family of that gentleman, that Manchester United fan, just as it did to the gentleman that was attacked, the Manchester City fan. There is no rivalry in these situations. I sincerely pray that this man makes a full recovery. I'm getting emotional talking about this. It shouldn't come into our sport. What type of a prick do you have to be to attack somebody and stick a knife in their damn chest over a game of football? Let's get this. A game of football. And this man's life has been changed forever, as that Manchester City fans has, as of course Sean Cox's life has. All over a goddamn sport. A sport that we love, a sport that evokes emotion, passion, has given us some of the best and possibly worst memories of our lives. But a sport nonetheless. This isn't war. This is not combat. This is a fucking sport. And this man was attacked callously. Honestly, the football authorities, the police, the stewards, something has to be done here because football fans cannot travel in fear of their safety. This man was in a taxi. A taxi. As far as they were concerned, these 4 fans, and I'm not saying that they did have any issues in and around the stadium, but if they did, they got into a cab, a private or a taxi cab licensed by the City of Paris. They would have thought, well, that's it, now we're safe. We're going back to the city centre. They rightly celebrated their team's victory, and if the taxi driver couldn't take that, then he shouldn't be in the fucking job, because he's not fit to be in that job. He's not fit to work with the public. This man should be locked up for a very fucking long time. My heart goes out to all Manchester United fans, as it did to the Manchester City fan recently. I cannot get my head around this stuff, ladies and gents. It's fucking sport. It's sport. That's all this is. I'm just going to read some stuff from the article now. The victim tried to intervene to protect the lady. The taxi driver stuck the knife in his chest, and he was left lying on the pavement fighting for his life until a member of the group was able to flag down a passing car that kindly stopped, showed humanity, the humanity that we're speaking about, and brought this gentleman, rushed him straight to the hospital, where he was immediately brought in to be operated on. I pray to God that he's okay. I'm genuinely emotional about this, because I can't believe it. Like, if they didn't learn a lesson after what happened with Mr. Cox, if they didn't learn a lesson after what happened last week, the authorities need to stamp down on this, and the full force of the law needs to come down on this scumbag, because it's unacceptable, ladies and gentlemen. It's unacceptable. It's a goddamn sport. It's a goddamn sport. Has to come to an end. Now, on this, thankfully, there's a little bit of good news around this as well. I'm delighted to say that there's been some positive news around the Manchester City fan that was attacked in Germany last week. He's now awake and will be transferred back to the UK in the next couple of weeks to continue his recovery. All I can say is that I hope he recovers fully. I hope he never has to go through a moment of pain again in his life, nor to his family, nor to anybody associated with them. I hope it never happens to another football fan again, whether it be a Manchester City fan, Liverpool fan, United fan, whoever the hell it might be. This is a sport. We stand together as fans. I'm sick of saying this. Keep each other's backs. Look out for each other. Banter is one thing, but your life should never be in jeopardy attending a sport, an event, a carnival, a fiesta of football. The Champions League is the highest level of club football. This shit needs to be stamped out. It cannot continue. I've stayed away from social media all day because I don't want to say something that's going to get me in trouble. I don't want to say something that might get me banned. But I feel very, very strongly about this. As I said, I'm a former taxi driver. I've had dickheads in my taxi. I've had people that I've wanted to throw out. I've had people attacking ladies in the back of my taxi. I've pulled over. I've tried my best to resolve the situation. But I've never laid a goddamn hand on a member of the public, because you're representing your country, your city, yourself, your family. Guys, I'm sorry I'm so emotional at the start of this stream, because there's lots of good stuff to get through, and we'll focus about this from a Liverpool perspective. I'm going to finish up there, but just again to reiterate, stay together, drop any rivalries. If you're on social media, please no sick jokes, no snide jokes. There's no need to try and be a funny fucker in these situations. You let those Manchester United fans know that you've got their back. You let them know that you wish no harm to any of their supporters, because it's the damn right thing to do. Underneath it all, there's a respect among football clubs in England. It's a beautiful culture of football. The days of hooliganism and that have been thankfully stamped out in England, and I've never in all of my time going to football over there witnessed a single thing that made me fear for my safety, anybody around me safety. The police have handled things magnificently. It doesn't happen in the UK anymore, or very, very rarely happens in the UK, involving UK fans, I should say. What happened to Sean Cox, of course, did happen in Liverpool, but it had nothing to do with Liverpool fans, local fans, English fans. There was people that came over looking for trouble. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I'll park that up, ladies and gents. Sorry if I started this stream with a little bit of an angry one, but I feel pretty damn strongly about this one. And anyway, let's get back to Liverpool related stuff. As you guys can see, it might take me a minute or two to come back around here, so bear with me please. It's disgusting, Craig, what the taxi driver did, said the ref and I. You Liverpool fans need to be careful in Germany. As a Man United fan, football is getting out of hand, said Lee Newman. Disgusting, said Jev. Disgusting PSG fans. It was a taxi driver. He must have been a fan of Paris Saint-Germain, otherwise there's no reason why he would be so... I say I must be. I'm actually clutching here. I'm clutching at straws because I don't know for a fact that he was. I'm assuming that he was. Sean was hit with a belt buckle and he was in a coma, said Brian. I'm glad LFC are doing Legends matches to raise money for Sean Cox, as am I. And Roma, to be fair, Roma have done a lot as well to help Mr. Cox and Mr. Cox's family. I'm a United fan, but I like your channel. Thank you, Jay. That's very kind of you, mate. Disgraceful what's happening in football nowadays, said Aaron. It is, mate. It is. It's do you know what? I'm looking. I've actually lost a subscriber since the start of this stream. And whoever that was that hit that unsubscribe button, and I usually don't give a fuck. You want to be some callous bastard to hit an unsubscribe button for somebody having a comment about a fan being attacked. So whoever you are, and I really don't give a shit because it's one subscriber, but just the thoughts that somebody during that decided I'm going to unsubscribe because, hey, fuck fan violence in football. That speaks volumes. Anyway, hope the guy makes a speedy recovery. Absolutely, mate. Very kind of you to say. You're an amazing human being, Craig. I'm not, mate. I'm just a football fan, Stefan. Like you, mate. Like anybody else that's just angry about what's going on. I thought this shit was behind us. I thought when we got through the 70s and 80s and football hooliganism went past, that society, culture had grown. It certainly has in the UK. 100% it has in the UK. Now, the UK football has its own problems. You know, there's some racism starting to creep back in, and there's stuff in the sport that needs to be stamped out. But the policing, the way events are handled, the way fans are brought to and from stadiums, the way they're kept away if there's any thoughts there might be trouble, all this stuff has been stamped out. These dirty bastards needs hanging. Kick them out of a great sport. Hope the lad is okay and recovers, as do I, mate. As I said time and time again, there's no rivalry in these situations. You're fans, you stick together. Yeah, and you show love and support in these situations. Anyway, ladies and gents, let's push on. So, some Bayern Munich news to start tonight. Let's get it back to Liverpool. So, Robin, Ribery, Kingsley Coman are all injured at present. We know Joshua Kimmich is out as well. Just to try to say it right there, October. Joshua Kimmich is out as well because he picked up a second booking, or a booking that ruled him out the next leg. So, it's not looking good for Bayern Munich at the minute. Ribery, Robin and Coman all injured. Now, Coman and Robin are 100% looking like they're out of the game. Ribery is going to be touch and go. He might make the game next Wednesday against Liverpool. But if you put on top of that the fact that Thomas Muller, Jerome Boateng and Mats Hummels were all dropped by their international team this week in what was a really fucking weird move by them. One of their clubs has a massive European occasion coming up next week, and the German Football Association decided to come out and let these players know that they're no longer going to be selected for international duty. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. October was baffled. As I said to you guys before, October comes from German family, has a massive background in German football. Her family have lots of love for German football, and she can't figure out why the hell they're after doing this, and nor can I. It seems madness. But it is good news for Liverpool Football Club. We'll take every little win that we can. You don't wish injury on any players, of course not, but with Robin, Ribery and Coleman looking like they could be out, with Joshua Kimmich out as well, Mats Hummels, Muller and Boateng all having a bit of a chip on their shoulder, it could be good. Maybe I'm clutching at straws, as I said. It could be good. Craig, what's the shirt that you're wearing? It's Toronto, mate. It's Toronto. Vincent said, especially Man United and Liverpool were fighting pretty much at the same, or at that time. I don't know what that's about. I'm sure you're just commenting back to somebody else. Look at this gobshite. The tactical show, mate. Honestly. Learn to spell. If you want to come on and say that and have a conversation around that, mate, and call people bottle jobs and go through all this bollocks, please just come on. I'll bring you on. You can get a microphone and I'll bring you on and we can talk about why you're a cunt. And I'll tell you why you're a cunt. And then we'll all come to the conclusion that you're a cunt. Probably because you're a cunt. Simples. In other news, you wait for it to open an investigation. Oh, we'll get to that. Oh, we will get to that, ladies and gentlemen. You do know I love a bit of Der Spiegel. And there is Der Spiegel all over the place coming up. Der Spiegel all over the shop for you later on. I can promise you that one. Just want to get your thoughts on the Bayern Munich stuff ahead of the game next week. Nav said still buzzing. I'm sure, mate. I gather you're a United fan, you must be. It was one hell of a fucking turnaround last night. There's no denying that one. Oxlade-Chamberlain is playing tomorrow for the under-23, said Cool, which is brilliant news. I cannot wait for him to start getting minutes under his belt, get closer to that first team appearance. Very little but violence in our daily football today, all around the countries, but it was more dangerous to go to the football matches and derbies in the 80s. Indeed it was, Vincent. Indeed it was, mate. Saddened about this situation. I'm glad Robin is injured, said Dave Sweeney. Love the way you say the C-bomb. Alex, it's probably the word I use more in the English language than any other word. Yeah, If you're around my house, mate, you'd hear it an awful lot, trust me. But it's weird, in Ireland we can use that word, and I know in certain parts of the world the C word, I'm going to say, because I've said it enough at the start of the stream, and I don't want to waste it, you know what I mean? I want to keep it for people that deserve it. I can use that to compliment somebody. I can use that with my friends to tell them what a great job they're doing, or how funny they are, or it's a word that's not really shunned as much in Ireland anyway. Big United fan, have my respect, and a new sub. Thank you very much, Nav. Really appreciate that, mate. Welcome to the stream. Manchester City versus United. I hope if we get a result next week, Porto will do. What's this? I don't know what that means. James Hardy. Man City versus Man United, I hope. And if we don't get a result next week, Porto will... Oh, in the draw, mate. Sorry, I didn't get you. I think Bayern will either get a tie, it'll be a tie game, or a 4-0 whitewash, said Red Hulk. I think we're going to beat them, mate. Well, I think we're going through, sorry. I think I predicted a 2-2 draw, but either way, I see Liverpool going through. Craig, if Oxlade-Chamberlain is back, who will the midfields be? Honestly, Jaden, I don't think you're going to see Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain start a game for Liverpool first team for probably a month at least. Oh God, I can't wait for him to come back though, mate. And in answer to your question, it's a difficult one. I would probably go Fabinho, Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, but it depends if he wants to play two holding mids. Gnabry for Bayern is a good player, and he just signed a new contract as well. Actually, on Gnabry, he signed a contract extension with Bayern Munich that will keep him there. I think it's until 2023 or something like that. This year's Champions League is wide open, and it's a golden opportunity for the sixth. What do you think? It is, Aaron. It is 100% wide open, mate. As you've said, it's very difficult to pick a winner. City can win it. Liverpool can win it. You cannot rule out United doing something at this point after what happened last night. Spurs, they're very solid defensively. The winner of Atletico, Juventus. I mean, it really is a wide open competition. Do you know who won't be winning it though? Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain. The two bunch of cheating fucks are out, and it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm a United fan, but I have a soft spot for Salah. He's there are some footballers, Nav, mate, aren't there, that you just cannot dislike. N'Golo Kante, he's a footballer, for instance, that I think nobody can dislike. For me, there are other football. Who is it that else I can't dislike? For us, obviously, Salah. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank here at this moment in time, and I can't believe that I am drawing a blank. Juan Mata. I can't dislike Juan Mata, mate, because he's just a good human being. And you look at him and you know that he's not a shithouse, basically. You know he does such great charity work, and you know he's just a nice fella. So yeah, there are some players that you just look at and you push your club rivalries aside and just go, do you know what? He's a good footballer and he's a good lad. What collapsed this afternoon? Sorry, Stephen, I'm missing comments here, buddy. Oh, you're watching the stream from hospital. Fuck, mate. I hope you're okay. Well, you're in hospital. You're on the stream, so I'm assuming that that's a good sign that you're on the stream. But, mate, take care of yourself. Your health is your most important thing, Stephen, mate. Look after yourself, buddy, and, you know, don't be pushing yourself. Although, look, I don't know what happened. I'm just trying to reassure you, I suppose, buddy, that we're here with you, as you can see. And thank you for coming in, as always, buddy. You know we love you. In the island I live in, parents can be arrested for 2 weeks if they curse. I would be locked up for life if that was the case. And you know what? I can't believe that that's even a law. How can language get you into prison? It's language. It's words. You're not hurting anybody. If that man, do you know what? I would have a solicitor on retainer if that was the case. Right, guys, as you can see, I did say I was waiting for something else to arrive for another giveaway. And as you know, we're giving away a Score Draw retro shirt next Wednesday when the channel turns 1 year old. I've told you about that before. To be in with a chance to win that, go over to Twitter, make sure you follow @ScoreDrawRetro, and make sure you're subscribed on here. But that thing I was waiting for in the post did arrive today, and as you can see, we've went and got another signed John Barnes image. This one is different to the last one. This one is a bit of a montage. Is that the right word I'm looking for here? Of moments during John Barnes' career, different shirts. You can see the image there on tonight's show image, I suppose. To be able to chance to win that, it's really simple. Just subscribe. That's it. Be subscribed to the channel, and we'll give that away along with the Score Draw shirt. Well, 2 separate prizes, but we'll give them both away next Wednesday after the Bayern Munich game. Hopefully after Liverpool book their place in the quarter-final of the Champions League. So look, just subscribe to the channel to be in with a chance to win that, and of course the other shirt as well. Yeah, we're trying to give as much away as we can. We always said if we do have any bits of spare money or anything like that, we always like to try and buy little bits and pieces to give away. And this was something that we purchased, like the other John Barnes images. They weren't donated to us, or we didn't get them from a sponsor or anything like that. We just like to try and give a little bit back if we can. What have we got? Gnabry took out Robertson quite a few times. So Pragmaverts. Mata, yeah, it was Mata. Thank you for getting my back on that one. I always draw blanks on simple things. Like, I remember the most difficult of things, and then a very simple thing, I'll just completely lose my train of thought, excuse me. Hi Craig, been out of work, sick, very boring. Ella, relax though, mate. You're out of work, relax, kick back, have a duvet day, chill, get plenty of liquids into you, and make sure that you're okay, my friend. And thank you for joining us, but I do hope you're back to full health soon. I went to Kiev last year. Oh mate, I'm so jealous. I couldn't afford it. I just couldn't get the money together. We were going to Orlando on holidays. There's no way I could have afforded it. It looked brilliant. Shevchenko Park looked absolutely amazing last year in the build up to the final. I did see that Arsenal lost 3-1, Siobhan. They went down to 10 men. Went 1-0 up, went down to 10 men, and then lost 3-1. 2-0 win at home though would see them through, but it's going to be an interesting second leg. What else we got? What's this City FFP thing about? Oh, we'll get to that. Don't you worry about that. We will get to that. Right, so on the City thing, I'm going to just get it. I have two different lots of information that I want to bring you up on the whole stuff around Manchester City, so bear with me. Okay, here we go. So, oh, I love this. I've been waiting for this. People have been asking me for ages, when's all the stuff with Manchester City going to come about? Are UEFA actually looking into this stuff? What's going on here? Well. It has come out, so let me just grab my notes up here. Oh, I love this stuff. Right, here we go. So Manchester City have been officially not charged, but an investigation into FFP by UEFA has been officially launched towards Manchester City. And here's Manchester City's reply to this, and I love this, so I'm going to read this out to you. Manchester City welcomes the opening of a formal UEFA investigation as an opportunity to bring an end to the speculation resulting from the illegal hacking and out-of-context publication of City emails. The accusation of financial irregularities are entirely false. The club's published accounts are full and complete and a matter of legal and regulatory regard. Yeah, because City are just delighted that UEFA are after opening an investigation into them. Absolutely delighted. Of course they would be. Sure, it's what they would have wanted. It's absolutely what they would have wanted. Have you ever heard more bullshit in your life? UEFA are opening an investigation into Manchester City for FFP, and sure, City are only delighted about it. They're delighted, so they only want to cooperate. So they're good out lads, Manchester City. Not a bit of harm in them whatsoever. Some more information on that. Of course, City deny these allegations. The forensic accounting will be going on as we speak. They'll be bringing in people to, make sure everything is tickety-boo. Manchester City are subject to UEFA investigation of a potential breach of financial fair play regulations. European football's governing body announced on Thursday they've opened a formal investigation into the Premier League champions' financial conduct amid a number of alleged recent reported violations. We've gone through the club statements. What else we got? The revelations suggest that Manchester City officials deceived UEFA over several years here we're talking people, including disguising the source of revenue from sponsorship deals. We spoke about that before. Tied to the club's owners in Abu Dhabi. The magazine Der Spiegel, we do love a bit of Der Spiegel, also alleged that City hid payments to former manager Roberto Mancini and artificially reduced their image right costs. City have repeatedly declined to address specific allegations and have not contested the authenticity of the documents. Again, that's really important to say. They have not contested the authenticity of the documents. All the language you see used from Manchester City around the allegation from Der Spiegel were basically them saying, we're not commenting on these because they were got illegally. They were hacked. It doesn't matter. We're not commenting on them. I'm not telling you if they're true or not. It doesn't matter. They were hacked. Therefore, I have a get out of jail free card because they were hacked. Hacked. That's all they've said. No talky because they were hacked. Well, motherfuckers, you're going to have to do some talking now because your UEFA are going to look into it. I'm sure they're going to try your legalese. I'm sure Manchester City are going to try and hide around how these were came to. Somebody sent me a message. Brian Morrissey, thank you for this. Brian Morrissey sent me a message to say that Der Spiegel, somebody from Der Spiegel has been on the Guardian Football podcast or the recent Guardian Football Weekly podcast, or is going to be on it, talking about this stuff. So interesting to hear that. I haven't got a chance yet to listen to that podcast. The accusation of financial irregularities are entirely false, said Manchester City. The club's accounts are published in full and yada yada. We've gone through that one as well. At the turn of the year, UEFA's chief financial fair play investigator and former Belgian Prime Minister said, if what has been written about Manchester City is true, there must be a serious problem. This can lead to the heaviest punishment, exclusion from UEFA competitions. UEFA gave no timetable for the case, stating that it will make no further comment on the matter while the investigation is ongoing. Very, very interesting stuff, ladies and gents. Very interesting stuff. Okay, I see that tactical show is still in. That reaction though sounded like Keane said that lol. Okay, I'm on board of you, dickhead. Time for you to go night night. Okay, gone. Right. Ladies and gents, can we get your thoughts on the whole Manchester City stuff? All did their Spiegel allegations. Etihad Airlines gave City a £400 million sponsorship deal. The airline had never made a profit, even at the time it gave City that deal. Said Gonaz, the airline is owned by Mansour's family. Go figure. That's one of the things that was spoken about, mate. Toronto jersey. Yes, it is, buddy. I have a few of them. I bought a few MLS shirts last year when I was on holidays. You haven't really missed much yet, LMA. Just talking about football, violence and sport. And then we're just talking about now about the Manchester City stuff. What can this result in? It can result, worst case scenario, in removal from UEFA competitions. Now, I'm very uncertain about if UEFA come to the conclusion that they've broken rules, if the Premier League will act in a separate way. I do not know. I also do not know if the Premier League will open their own investigation. I won't comment on that because I simply don't know. But all I do know is worst case scenario, Manchester City can be removed from or banned from European competition and fined. That's all I know on this one. Craig, where's the Liverpool jersey? I don't wear Liverpool jerseys every day, mate. I mean, I do have other clothes. Do you know what I mean? I don't just wear Liverpool shirts. I've got a wardrobe, I told you, with over 100 shirts in there. Do you know what I did get, actually? On a bit of a brighter note, I wanted to just... I was going to wear this, but then when I wore it, you couldn't see it properly on the screen. So, people have asked about merch before. Well, here you go. There's a t-shirt for you. Where are you going? There's a t-shirt for you, ladies and gents. Ah! There you go. There's a bit of a t-shirt for you. That's going to be available from the Anfield Agenda website or store at some point. A bit of a fuckum t-shirt right there. So there you go. People asked about it. I had one hanging around all the time, but I never was able to grab it before a stream because I kept forgetting. But there you go. That is what the fuckum t-shirt will look like. It will be available in red, black, I don't know what other colours. That's Connor's department. Der Beagle, the dog. As we discussed, the annual direct obligation for Ibar is 3 million. The remaining 12 million required will come from His Highness. That's another quote, I think, from Gonads from these Der Spiegel articles. It was on today's episode, Brian May. Thank you, because it hadn't been uploaded yet while I was checking. I checked on iTunes, and I couldn't see the one up there with Der Spiegel. What are your thoughts on Arsenal? Difficult when you go down to 10 men. I still think they'll probably go through. I think they'll probably pick up 2 goals at home if they can keep a clean sheet, which they might not be able to. But they're under pressure, mate. There's no doubt about that. But look, it's the BTEC European competition. Who gives a shit, really, about what Chelsea and Arsenal are at in the BTEC Cup? Does any of us really care? It's it's the Europa League. It's for the lesser sides. It was, Joe, yes, mate. It was absolutely about the Manchester United fan that was attacked, mate. It's deplorable in every sense of the word. And obviously, as I said at the start of the stream, mate, there's no place for it in the sport. There's no place for club rivalries in these situations. Our thoughts, best wishes, prayers and support, of course, go to the man's family, Manchester United fans, the club and anybody associated with the club, because this shit should not happen in sport. Right, let me catch up on some comments. Lucky it's UEFA and not the FA. Look, I'd be amazed if UEFA found them guilty if the Premier League or the FA didn't have a little look at this themselves. Imagine if UEFA proved them guilty of the offences, then people will have to take action and launch their own investigation or simply take action against City on the strength of the UEFA outcome. On this one as well, it's also been alleged, and I have to say alleged on this one, that there has been diplomatic interference. Is that the right phrase I'm looking for here? That basically there's been political interference along the way as well here, and some pressure put on UEFA at times. Uh, I can't really talk too much about that because I don't know the ins and outs of it too much. But again, it's all there in Spiegel. If you want to go and have a read of it, go onto the Spiegel site, search Manchester City, or I don't know how I found it the last time, but I imagine it won't be too hard to find. It's one of the biggest stories. Hey Ben, how are you, mate? Thank you for joining. Who've Liverpool got next? Burnley, Ben. Sunday, 12 p.m. Europa League is good. Europa League is good to watch. Players that don't normally watch. Boy, I watched some of the Napoli game actually. I always enjoy watching Napoli, so I watched that one tonight. Should Keita play against Burnley? I would say yes, mate. I'd love to know what you think, M Shack, but I would say yes. Glad Firmino said he looks up to Ronaldinho. As I said 2 nights ago, he's the best player ever. You gotta love Ronaldinho, don't you? He's an absolute nut job. I love him. What's your prediction for the Burnley match? We'll do a proper preview, Brian, around all this stuff tomorrow or Saturday. But 2-0, I'd take a 2-0. Sean, how are you, mate? Welcome in. Dave Sweeney said we should start a chant with Der Spiegel, maybe, to Salah down the wing. Der Spiegel, with the stolen FFP. How they blaming Liverpool or stealing the info. Yeah, it's, as I said, it's very interesting what Manchester City have replied with to this one. It's just... we're not commenting on that because that information was out of context and nicked. Look, if even 5% of that shit is true, then they're in trouble. If City are found guilty of any impropriety, they should be stripped of all silverware for the period of wrongdoing. The shitty thing about that is, and look, I don't expect that to happen if I'm being honest. I don't think it'll quite go that far because I don't think the UEFA or the Premier League have the balls to pull the trigger on it. But if it does happen, what a shit way that is for people to win the league. As an example, if Manchester City were stripped of that title, Manchester United would be Premier League champions from last year. Let's just say as an example. Do you think that's the way Manchester City want to win the Premier League? Or Manchester United, I should say, want to win the Premier League? Is a fuck. No fan wants to be handed it after the fact and say, oh, there you go. There are your medals, lads. Congratulations. Fans, there you go. No time to celebrate, but there you go. It's it's sad in that sense. Should Liverpool sign Timo Werner? 100% yes. We've spoken about that every night, mate, for the past month probably. I'm a massive fan of Timo Werner. What do you think the score will be? I don't know what you're talking about there. If it's Burnley, I've already answered it. If you search on empty seats on Google Maps, it comes up with the Etihad, says Prez Salah. Love it. Guys, another shout out there. If you're in and you haven't subscribed yet, please do hit that button. Look at us, we're getting close. We're ticking along here towards 10k. 370 to go. 6 days to go, and it's going to be close. But look, if you're watching, you like the channel, you like what we're doing, please do hit that subscribe button. That Spiegel on the wall. Who is the cheesiest of them all? Liverpool should sign more players from Brazil. It's difficult to do it, James, because of the work permit issues. You have to either be classed as an exceptional talent, you have to have played a certain amount of percentage of your national team's games over the past, I don't know how long, and your team has to be ranked at a certain level as well, your national team. It's not that easy actually, unless of course sometimes Brazilian players have a dual Brazilian and Portuguese passport, and if that's the case, it's a lot easier if they have that Portuguese passport. I'd happily take the 13-14 title, please, and that's... I wouldn't. Do you know what? I really wouldn't. I'd hate to win the title that way. Fuck City, fuck United, and fuck Keys, said Kev. Yeah, hell, hairy hands can certainly do one. See you later, Ben. Wasn't Salah and Mane interchanged at all? I've no idea, buddy. It's not something you'd have to ask the manager, or it is something you'd have to ask the manager. Well, look, Mane's played central in the past 2 games. But I do agree, Vince, especially against United, I was baffled as to why we didn't go and stick Mo Salah over on Ashley Young when he was on a yellow card. But it's something I guess the manager... I don't know, Vince, because you have a very good point, mate, and I understand where you're coming from, but I can't give you an answer other than guessing. Unless, of course, it was a rhetorical question, in which case I still agree with you. Inter Milan had a short period of dominance when Juve and the other clubs were sanctioned for bribery, led to Inter's first Serie A title in over 15 years. Bonjour, Luke, how are you, pal? Right, actually, the title of tonight's stream was about this Brazilian player. Sorry. I've been a little bit sidetracked. My head is still all over the place after the start of this stream, I'm not going to lie. I'm struggling to come back to normality. So look, Liverpool are looking to pour more disappointment on Real Madrid by beating them to the signing of teenage sensation Reiner Jesus or Jesus or Reiner Jesus or whatever you want to call him in the transfer market. This story I took from Fanside. I can't remember which exact side it was. Fanside have lots of different sites writing with them and they share the stuff. I can't remember who it was, and I do like to give credit to stories if I pull a story from a site because, as I said, people have taken the time to write these stories. It could have been Rush the Cop. Actually, it could have been Rush the Cop. So Liverpool are looking to pour more disappointment on Real Madrid by beating them to the Brazilian teenage sensation Reiner Jesus in the transfer market. The 17-year-old attacking midfielder plays for Flamengo in Brazil and is attracting attention from a host of top European clubs, with Liverpool and Real Madrid joining Paris Saint-Germain at the front of the queue. Other clubs linked to have included Roma, Juventus, and of course the currently under investigation Manchester City. So guys, look, I'm not even going to pretend that I've ever heard of this young man before this article today. I haven't got a Scooby-Doo who he is. But again, he's been linked with a lot of clubs. 70 odd million seems to be his buyout. Something ridiculous like that. A really, really high number. 17 years of age. I don't know what to say. Guys. It would be a massive gamble for somebody that young. But for all I know, he could be the next Kylian Mbappe. Do you know what I mean? I just don't know. Has anybody got anything on this young kid? Anything, maybe FIFA clips you've watched or something? Because I've got nothing. Well, I'm going out on a limb here, folks. I've got nothing. It wasn't rhetorical. Lots of love and respect for all that you do. I'd love to give you an answer, Vince, mate. Honestly, because I agree with what you're saying. It does baffle at times. Because when we first had that front trio, you used to see them interchange all the time. And I mean, the three of them there was like a fluid front three that they pop up all over the place. Now it's a little bit more rigid and structured. It could be to do with the fact that we want to concede less goals. I don't know, mate, but it's definitely something that deserves a discussion at some point. Why hasn't Klopp been playing Shaqiri and Sturridge? Because Sturridge is dog shit. That's why he hasn't been playing Sturridge. Let's call a spade here. Daniel Sturridge is finished. I love Daniel Sturridge. I mean, I mean that sincerely. I am a fan of Daniel Sturridge. Daniel Sturridge has the natural predatory instincts of as good as many forwards. Like, I mean, and who doesn't love his dancing? Who doesn't love some of the moments he gave us? But he's finished. Let's be fair here. He doesn't have the same sharpness, explosiveness. He isn't the same Danny Sturridge of 3, 4, 5 years ago. And that's probably why we're not seeing him too much. I know it was a short answer to your question. Shaqiri is a noodle scratcher, labs. He's an absolute noodle scratcher. I don't know what's going on there. People think there might be some fallout between Klopp and Shaqiri. I don't know. I've not heard of anything other than rumours and conjecture around it. I've no proof that there has been. All I can say is, like all of you guys know, that he had an abductor injury that's held him back a little bit recently. But it is mad that he didn't play him or didn't come on as a substitute in the past 2 games. Manchester City have bought 10,000 mannequins. A club statement said, "We wish to fill the seats some way at home, or we've got to fill them some way." Oh, they sell them all the time. Every single seat at Manchester City stadium's always sold out, even though nobody's in them. Allegedly. It's Rainier. It's not Rainus. It's Rainier, I believe. Reinier, I think, is the way it's pronounced. He's a playmaker. He's only 17. Said Liverpool Football Club. Hey Blake, how are you, pal? Always a pleasure to see you in. Craig Weston as well. Werner to LFC. That's been doing the rounds today, thankfully, and it's good. It's good news. We spoke about it yesterday. That it came from Build. I think it was picked up. Was it by the Echo today? Did I see somebody sent me that from the Echo? It's great, isn't it? The more of this, please. More links to Timo Werner. More undermining of Bayern Munich, please, and more of him coming to Liverpool, because that'll do very nicely. Never fucking heard of him, said Brian Morrissey. Mate, you're like me, so I haven't got a clue who he is. Sturridge was my favourite player, said James. Is it Delian? He was a very, very good player, James. As I said, that goal he scored in the Europa League final against Sevilla was stunning. Absolutely stunning. Jesus doesn't have the consistency of Aguero. It's not the same fella, mate. It's a completely different Jesus. This is a 17-year-old kid from Flamengo, not Gabriel Jesus. I remember going as a team from the got minus 40 points, still finished 4th that season. I think it was Milan. That's ridiculous if that happened. He's not on FIFA. Scotty's checked already. There you go. Should we keep Origi? No, I would say no. That's just my opinion. But as I've said all along, the weird thing is, I actually do think there's a player in Origi I just don't think you're going to see that player blossom for another 3 or 4 seasons, and I don't think we have the time to keep him. So, no to us keeping Origi, but I do think he'll develop in the future into a good footballer. Well, sorry, he already is obviously a good footballer, but a very good footballer. Sturridge is way better than the mop head Origi, the hot dog. They're both not good enough, Johnny, if the truth be told, mate. That's my opinion. Anyway, I don't want either of them here at the end of the season. I don't think either of them are good enough for what we need. But I'm not going to slag either of them off. I mean, I wouldn't dare call one of our players a hot dog vendor mop head like you just have. But then again, different strokes for different folks, mate. Ryan Brewster's the next big star, said Billy Lar, which hopefully you're spot on about, mate. He's there's a lot thought of him. A lot of big clubs around Europe wanted to sign him. We know we pulled out of the friendly last summer with Borussia Mönchengladbach after they were sniffing around Ryan Brewster, and Liverpool were like, fuck you, no friendly for you, go away, slap on the nose. And then Jurgen Klopp finally talked him into signing that deal with Liverpool, so he's back training as well now, so we should start to see him get some minutes. Listening to all the fan channels, everybody wants to lit at their club, said Vince. Yeah, I well believe it, mate. I mean, I'll have him here as well if he's going. I'm sure he'll struggle to find a set of fans, mate, that wouldn't love him at their club. When will Ox be in the first team? I'd be guessing, Scotty, 3-4 weeks maybe. I think I said that earlier on, but look, he's playing tomorrow night, which is great news for the under 23. So every step in the right direction is a good step for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. I said this before, don't be surprised if he picks up a small niggly little injury on his comeback. It's not unusual when you've been out for so long to pick up a little secondary injury like that when you're working your way back. Maybe a muscle strain, I don't know, something simple like that might add a week or two on. Just don't lose your shit if it happens, is all I'm trying to say, because it happens a lot in these situations. Did you have a good day today, Blake? It was okay, my friend. It was okay, mate. How about you? Edwards will get 50 million for Origi, said Red Hulk. He tried to get 20 million for the past couple of windows. We just haven't been able to get rid of him. I remember when Sturridge and Suarez both chipped the keeper from near the halfway line versus West Brom in 13-14, said Pragmaverts. Oxlade-Chamberlain is back tomorrow night, Ollie, for the under 23s, but he's working his way back to fitness, mate, so it could be another few weeks yet before we see him really in the first team squad. Is Brewster any good? Yes. Forever yes, Scotty. He could be Raheem Sterling, Robbie Fowler, Michael Owen, that level of footballer. But like with any young player, you just hope he keeps developing. But he does have immense talent. Origi works harder than Sturridge, which I would agree with. Familiar to billions. He does work harder, and he did have a very good game against Watford. He just didn't show up really at the same level against Everton, although he wasn't the only one, to be fair, that didn't show up against Everton. Now we're second, we need to put pressure on City. We do, there's no doubt in that. I don't think we can afford to drop many more points this season, and realistically still think we can win the league. I think a draw perhaps on 8 wins is the minimum that we could get away with. Were you all happy to see the Manx beat PSG last night? A joke of a VAR decision. The Manx are vile, singing about Hillsborough. Look, Tommy, my view on this is I despise Paris Saint-Germain. I don't like Manchester United. I have a respect for them, of course, because they're an English club steeped in tradition, but the rivalry and the banter is there, and I don't like them as a club. I try to be respectful to everybody, but I despise Paris Saint-Germain. I said it last night. I despise what they stand for. I despise the way they fucked around with the FFP rules. I despise Neymar. I despise the way they go about their business. I despise the way they play football. I despise the way they're a bunch of cheating fucks. And many, many, many other reasons why I was actually happy to see Paris Saint-Germain get knocked out last night. Because as much as I don't like United, and I don't want United to go and win the competition, clearly, I mean, that shouldn't even be up for question here, I absolutely despise Paris Saint-Germain. They are everything that I dislike about modern day football. And Neymar is everything that I hate about the modern day footballer. So when you combine those two into one team, I was so fucking happy to see them crash out. I was so happy to see the media meltdown. But again, I'm never happy to see United going through. So it was a catch-22 for me. Press Salah reckons we might see Oxlade-Chamberlain in and around the Spurs game on the 31st of March. Liverpool Football Club said the buyout clause for that gentleman, that young gentleman we spoke about earlier on, the Reiner Jesus fella, is 70 million quid, which is a lot of wedge, isn't it, for a 17-year-old kid? Although, look, clubs are probably being clever now and knowing if they have any talented players, they need to put ridiculous buyout clauses in, because if a club comes sniffing around, you might as well try and get as much as you can. Lads, let's get a Der Spiegel subscription for his birthday. Oh God, Der Spiegel. They should be sponsoring this show. I swear to God, Der Spiegel, if you're watching anywhere, if you get this clip, somebody hit me up. I mean, we've probably done more for your article than any other fan site. We love a bit of Der Spiegel on here. Should Liverpool sell Lallana, Mignolet and Moreno? They won't get a chance to sell Moreno, Shaq, because his contract is up, so he'll be leaving on a free. Mignolet, I think there's probably an agreement there that he can leave at the end of the season. And Lallana, I would say yes, mate, but I would have sold him last summer, if I'm being honest. But I do think Adam Lallana is still a very, very good footballer. I just don't think he's the right fit for us anymore. But I won't speak badly of him because, I do think he's a very good footballer. Might sound like a silly question, which will be a tougher, Burnley or Bayern? I don't think it is a silly question, Red Hulk, mate. I really don't. I think if you get through the Burnley game, the Bayern game suddenly has less pressure on it. So I'd probably say Burnley, buddy. At a guess, I would say the Burnley game might have a little bit more pressure on it. I'm expecting the fans to be as great as they were in the recent home games, though. Liverpool fans to up their level again and cheer the lads on to victory. I think if you got to choose versus Everton because of the Watford game, we do need a striker, a Fowler type player, said Familiar to Billions. Should we put Salah more central as he's not having the best of games out in the wing? Seems to be a bit more time to turn the ball and run with it instead of receiving it with his back to goal. He's not somebody really that does too well with his back to goal, DJ Space Hopper. He is more somebody that likes to get in behind. We pushed him back out wide because it wasn't quite working out centrally when he was there, and we dropped Bobby Firmino a little bit deeper. So I just think it's really his form more than the position that he's in. His favourite position is out on the right hand side. And we heard Bobby Firmino speak recently about his admiration for Jurgen Klopp, how much he loves his new position through the centre. So, and he said he wants to stay playing there for the rest of his career. So I'd imagine that's probably where Firmino will stay for the time being, at least maybe until we get a Timo Werner or somebody in. But I just think we need to keep backing Mo and know that he'll turn around and he'll be back to his best at some point soon. Did you watch the United game? I did, mate. I did a watch along of it on the channel actually. Jurgen hopes Gomez is fit for selection for the Spurs game. Oh, that'd be great, wouldn't it? I mean, having Joe Gomez back would be amazing. Am I feeling the pressure at all as a fan? Not at all, Vince. No, mate, not at all. This is where, look, I'm not saying I'm not a little bit disappointed that we had that gap that's been eroded, but at the same time, the points total that we currently have now, 70 points, or is it 69 points? Is it 70 or 69? I can't remember. Anyway, the points total that we have now is Liverpool's 10th highest ever Premier League points total, and there's still 9 games to go. I'm going to say that again. The points total that Liverpool currently have is the 10th highest points total that we've had in Premier League history, and there's still 9 games to go. So all you need is talk about Liverpool bottling it or it being a disappointing season. It's just silly. Liverpool could end up with 90, 91 points and still not win the league. Look back through the history of Premier League wins. 90, 91, 92 points usually wins you the Premier League. So we've improved massively. And the level just keeps going up and up and up because Manchester City are setting the bar higher and higher and higher. So to win the Premier League now, you're almost having to win 31, 32 games in a season, 30 minimum and then a few draws. It's getting very, very difficult to do it. So I'm quite happy with where we are. I'm disappointed with the way the season has panned out. And yes, there's been situations where perhaps we could have capitalised a bit more. But overall, at the start of the season, and I hate to be that guy, but at the start of the season I wouldn't have minded being in this position. But that doesn't mean, like everybody else, I don't feel a little bit deflated that we had a 7-point lead at one point and now we're 1 point behind. But such is football, mate. It's up to us now. If we win our last 9 games, I honestly think we win the league. I don't see Manchester City winning their last 9 games. Nor do I see us doing it, if I'm being honest. 8 wins and a draw. But yeah, that's honestly how I feel. Icardi has too much baggage. He's a bit of a nut job as well, but I love a nut job. But yeah, he does have a bit too much baggage. I'm not getting into the Michael Jackson thing, mate. I've already gotten into it on a stream before. The show is out there now for people to watch and make up their own mind and opinion on. I've given my opinion on it strongly on a previous show. I'm not going to do it again because I've already had one rant on this stream, and people don't want to just tune in to see me giving out about stuff. Buy Koulibaly and Werner. If not Werner, give Brewster his chance. Well, Brewster, Chris, mate, he'll definitely be getting his chance. I can't wait to see how good he is. He could turn out to be a very special player indeed. We're not buying Koulibaly though. That's never, ever, 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 ever going to happen, Chris. Ever. I could underline ever here 100 times, and it still won't ever happen. Yeah, sorry. For the same money, you're going to get Delay. And if you buy Delay, you have Delay for the next 10 or 12 years. I'm not saying we're buying him either, but from a common sense perspective, I'd say United are going to go in for Koulibaly. That's a guess, because they've been in from previously and they still need a centre-back. Blake, talk to you soon, pal. Arsenal crap, 3-1. What's your thoughts on that? Stupid red card. And then Ren, whatever way you want to pronounce it. Fair fucks to them. They went and dug in and they got the win. It'll be an interesting night at the Emirates afterwards. I haven't had the privilege of being sent anything from Arsenal Fan TV yet, thank fuck, because you know my opinion on that channel, but I can imagine the reaction. What do you think will be the hardest game now? Spurs at home, I think, will be our most difficult game. Burnley can be a difference maker for us. They've got cool. 3 points is a must, buddy. 3 points on Sunday is an absolute must. And of course, we will be doing a watch along of that as always, guys. Starting at about 11:30. Oh, that sounds wrong. That sounds all kinds of wrong. Saying we're starting to watch along at 11:30 in the morning, but that is the case. We will be starting that one at 11:30. Is that the Toronto FC jersey? It is, mate. It is indeed. I've got the Toronto shirt. I've got the Orlando shirt. I've got the Columbus Crew away shirt, and I've got the LAFC shirt. I had a signed Steven Gerrard LA Galaxy shirt as well, but I gave it away. What else have we got? Ole will go for Delit, not Koulibaly. Yeah, the thing is though, Vince, mate, he won't be the only one going for Delit. So Koulibaly might be the safer bet there, if you know where I'm coming from. Delit, Barcelona, possibly Liverpool, I don't know. Maybe Paris Saint-Germain. I don't know how many clubs, mate, are going to be in from, particularly with the run that Ajax are having. And like all clubs, they'll probably have 3 or 4 centre-backs that they'll be looking at. Would Liverpool spend over 150 million this summer? Yes, I don't see why not. And I'm not saying net, by the way, so don't go and quote me on this later on in the summer. But will we spend 150 million? Yeah, maybe. That's what, 2 players in this market, really? 2 top-notch players, so perhaps. What else have we got? Spurs at home won't be difficult. Last season was a blip. Well, I was there the one before as well, mate, and we drew 1-1. Which was difficult at home. Harry Kane scored, if memory serves correct, or maybe it was the season before, but I was at the game in the front row of the King Kenny stand. Didn't like sitting in that front row. It was too low to the pitch. Is Salah becoming too predictable? No. I just think that those players have copped onto him a little bit with regards to doubling up on him. I don't think we're getting enough people up to support him either, Vince, if I'm being honest, when he does receive the ball. But it's just that second season syndrome, buddy. Teams have copped on a little bit to what he does. Our system has changed also a little bit in that we're a bit more defensive in nature now. But look, I'm going to back Mohamed Salah to the ends of the earth because I think he's a tremendous footballer. And 17 Premier League goals for a right-sided wide forward is not too shabby, in my opinion. And there's still 9 games to go. The numbers he did last year were just ridiculous. That was just mental. It was brilliant, but mental. Where do I buy my shirts? In America, Labs Gamer. For the past 5 or 6 years, the family, we usually go over in October to Orlando for a couple of weeks. And there's a brilliant store in the Florida Mall, I think it is. Or is it the Mall of Millennia? I can't remember if it's the Florida Mall or the Mall or Lenia, called United World of Soccer. I know the name United in the title is really odd, but it's either called United World of Soccer or United Soccer, something like that. I'll get them in there. It's a really good store. Farwell was actually in there with me. I met Farwell the last time we were over there. We met up, went to Universal Studios together, and then we went into that store and he bought his first ever Liverpool shirt. I'm from Toronto. Love you, mate. Love you too, Aaron. Thank you very much for the kind words, mate. Guys, you can see we're giving away another signed John Barnes photograph next Wednesday when the channel turns 1 year old. To be in with a chance to win that signed picture, and it's an A4 signed picture, or size picture, excuse me, like the last one. All you have to do is just subscribe to the channel. Really simple. Just hit that subscribe button, you automatically go into the draw. We also have that Score Draw Retro shirt to give away. Now, to be in with a chance to win that, you've got to do two things. Firstly, subscribe to the channel here, which I hope most of you are doing or have already done. And secondly, pop over to Twitter and follow at ScoreDrawRetro, and that'll put you into the draw. And if you win, you can pick any shirt at all from ScoreDraw.com. All fully licensed merchandise. Liverpool products on there, Inter Milan, Bayer, Borussia Mönchengladbach, England stuff. I think there's Wales, Scotland. There's other European clubs as well. Barcelona shirts on there, I think. Lots and lots and lots of stuff. I do advise you to check it out, actually, because if you like your retro shirts, they're one of the main suppliers of retro shirts. So again, thank you to Score Draw for looking after us, for being really good partners with us all season. I think that's the 6th or 7th shirt they've given us to give away, so thank you so much to them. Craig, do you think we need a plan B for playing against defensive teams? No. You probably think I'm an idiot saying this, but I like Pep Guardiola's comments on this before. If plan A doesn't work, you need to improve plan A. And I like that, because I don't like teams changing their philosophy. Yes, there's tweaks and little bits and pieces, but believe in what you're doing. I'm a big believer in that. So I liked when I heard that from Guardiola. Little tweaks are okay, little changes to the system, but overall, I think believe in what you're doing and hope that it'll come. And Klopp's also said before, in these situations, he likes players to work problems out for themselves, which is why he sometimes leaves substitutions a little bit later. Do you want to buy Dybala? Yes, Dylan, mate. I love Paulo Dybala at Liverpool Football Club. I think he'd be ideal for the 10. But unfortunately, I don't see it happening. Not unless we were to lose somebody like Salah. And I don't want that to happen. Like we agreed before, Craig, Shevchenko and Neymar ruined the transfer market. So Pragmaverts. There was a few actually before him again that did it. The guy, what's your man's name? We spoke about a couple of days ago. Juan Sebastian Veron, he had a couple of ridiculously high moves as well back in the day. Pranav said 4-2-3-1 against Burnley with Keita and Shaqiri. Genie needs a rest looking ahead to the Bayern game. It'd be interesting to see, actually, Pranav, what type of team Jurgen Klopp does go with on Sunday. Why are we more defensive when we've better defensive players? It's a very, I suppose, open-ended question, mate. We're more defensive because last season and every other season, that lack of defensive solidity has cost us the title. Well, not last season as much, maybe the Champions League, but 13-14 and in previous seasons, we've had an Achilles heel where we're brilliant going forward, but if we lose the possession further up the field and turn it over, then we're open to being counter-attacked. It seems like a little tweak to our system has meant we're a little bit more solid defensively. As an example, I often seen our left back, Robertson, or whether it be James Milner, instead of trying to go down the outside, if things look iffy, they cut back inside to protect the ball rather than going around the outside, getting dispossessed and being opened up for a counter-attack. Small little things like that have made me think that Jurgen Klopp has gone a little bit more defensive. Now, in saying that, we've kept 17 clean sheets. Keeping 17 clean sheets is a tremendous achievement, but we do need to add a few more goals. But it's not the forwards' fault. I think we need more goals coming from midfield. Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane have done very good numbers this season. Not exceptional numbers, but very good numbers nonetheless. Bobby Firmino is chipping in as well, but our 6 midfielders have scored something like 5 goals, or our 5 midfielders have scored 6 league goals. Something really, really pathetic like that. And we need more goals from other parts of the field. Who would I upgrade in the front 3 next summer? Nobody. I'd buy Werner and I would drop Bobby Firmino deeper. But I wouldn't upgrade on any of them because I like the 3 of them. Ollie or Emery, how's it going to win? I don't care, mate. I don't mean to sound rude about that answer. I don't give a shit who wins that game. It's of no relevance to me as a Liverpool fan. 4th place isn't our worry at this moment in time. I want United to be in with a sniff of fourth place when they play Manchester City, but not clear enough that they can afford to drop points. So that's my only aim for United for the rest of this season, is that when they play Manchester City at the end of April, they need something from the game. Would we prefer two £75 million players or three £50 million players after the Deadwood leaves, asks Kev. I would go for option A, mate. Two £75 million players, although look, like anything else, that's quite subjective. I mean, it goes down to how good a business the club does. Like, for instance, Timo Werner is an example. He's been talked at around the 50 million mark. I wouldn't turn him down just because there's a 75 million quid player available. So I suppose it is a bit subjective, but I like us buying players at the higher end of the market, like the Virgil van Dijks, the Alisson Beckers. It was lovely to see the club going and getting them done, Fabinho's and stuff. Wonder how many teams will be scrambling over Moreno this summer. He's been linked to Barcelona. That's not a joke. He has been linked to Barcelona as a backup for the left back slot. And I'm not joking. You Google it if you don't believe me. Could you play Firmino as a 10 with Mane and Salah ahead as the strikers? In which sense, Vince? Is this at the weekend or next season when we've brought somebody else in, mate? We won't play with two strikers. We've yet to really play with two strikers under Klopp very many times, if any, and I'm trying to think back and I'm useless of stuff like this, but you lack width in that case, and we do like to play wide. So if we were to play narrow at the front like that with a 10 in behind, then you'd want to play almost 3 at the back and have 2 wing backs much further up the field in an attacking sense. Although Trent, to be fair, does get quite far forward. Should we buy another attacking midfielder? Trust Bobby and Chamberlain? No, I think we need to buy another one, mate. A 10 though, rather than attacking mid, because Chamberlain will give us that power, that running. I think we need the playmaker, don't we? The player to just play in the pockets in between the lines and play those little balls around the corner, or those little deft touches, or those slide rule balls across the box or to the back post. That's the type of player that we need. David Silva. Just reincarnate David Silva and go and buy him. If Liverpool can spend 250 million on 5 players and recoup 70 million from exits, said Pragmaverts. Rod said trust in Klopp. 2 years ago he saw a leaky defence and fixed it. Last year he saw an inefficient keeper and he got the bearded Jesus. Klopp will sort out the midfield. Absolutely. Whatever you or I think as fans, guys, Jurgen Klopp knows it. Whatever we think, whatever we see, Jurgen Klopp will have seen it, and will have seen it months ago, ahead of the rest of us. He's around these guys every day. He has all the stats, numbers, sports science, everything at his disposal. He gets handed all this information. He has a team of coaches around him. He will know exactly what's needed and what little tweaks are needed. And I've every fucking belief in that man, and that he knows exactly what he wants. We played 4-4-2 versus Burnley and Bournemouth away, said Press Salah. Thank you for that one, pal. As I said, my memory is like a sieve, buddy, at times. I can't remember what formation we played when. I'm struggling to remember results a lot of the time. Moreno is no competition. Have you not heard of Andrew Robertson? Andrew Robertson's amazing. Andrew Robertson is one of the signings of the past 5 years for the money we got him for. Ridiculous. A free swap for Kevin Stewart, basically. It's nuts. Would you take Dele Alli? It's a bit of a silly question because it's not going to happen. So I would have loved him when we should have signed him, when we were about to sign him. But now he's a Spurs player, and would I is kind of a pointless thing to talk about because he ain't going to come. Also, it doesn't look like other clubs are poaching players from Liverpool like they used to, said Rod. It's a long-term thing, which is a very good point. I remember seeing something recently. Who was it? What gobshite was it recently on one of the Sky Sports debate shows that said Manchester City should just pay 150 million to Liverpool and sign Van Dijk? Like, shit happens like that. Who was it? Does anybody remember who that was that said that? Because look, they had the chance to sign him for 75 million and he chose Liverpool. I don't know why 1 year later they think he's going to change his mind and just go, okay, Manchester City, here I am. Doesn't happen like that. And these are supposed to be fucking pundits that are paid to give professional opinions. Liverpool need to give Everton a brown paper bag. Oh wait, been watching too many movies. We need to score the first against Burnley. Last 2 years at Anfield we conceded first, said Press Salah. Douglas, I am very good, Douglas James Horn, mate. How are you? Thank you for joining us again. Stan Collymore. Oh, God. Yeah, what a gobshite. Yeah, it was Stan Collymore, Douglas. Thank you, you reminded me. And it wasn't Sky. I had to go with Sky there, and this actually was nothing to do with Sky. So apologies over that one. It wasn't a Sky show. Yeah, Stan Collymore. What a silly thing to say. Sounds like something Chris Hutton would say. No, as I said, it was Collymore. Douglas reminded me there, and it was spot on. It was Collymore. Okay, what else? I have some more notes to go through. Hang on 1 second. Oh, Harry Wilson. Harry Wilson. Lots of people have been asking about Harry Wilson. And if you guys remember, and those of you who've been with us a long time, I always said that I think Harry Wilson will go on loan to a Premier League club next season. Well, that seems what's going to happen. So reportedly, Liverpool seek another Premier League loan destination for Harry Wilson, despite his success at Derby this season. The 21-year-old is expected to go out on loan again in the summer. According to Goals Neil Jones, Liverpool are already talking to other clubs in the Premier League about sending Harry Wilson their way next season, with the Premier League minutes being the top priority for the development of the Liverpool youngster. So there you go. It looks like Harry Wilson will be going out on loan next season. He's done very well. What has he done? 12 goals and 4 assists and 35 appearances so far for Derby this season. So I did say, if you, those of you that watch all the time may remember, I said I can't be certain, but I always believed that he would go out on loan to a Premier League club next season and then test himself in the Premier League, and then Liverpool could get a better opinion of him. It was either that or Jurgen Klopp would give him the pre-season and then leave it till the last minute to decide if he was going to leave the club or stay. Yeah, what's your thoughts on that, ladies and gents? Harry Wilson could be our new number 10, said Press Salah. Harry Wilson has a similar face to Torres. He does, he absolutely does, mate. Pragmaverts, how are you not? Hang on 1 sec, pal. Oh, shit. Sorry, Pragmaverts. Boo, that was my fault. There we go. I was trying to do one thing to Pragmaverts. I automatically hit him from the channel by accident, but I fixed it. Sorry, buddy. There we go. Okay. No, I want Wilson now, said Tom Jones. Robbo can't cross. Good. Well, he really can. He really fucking can. Oh, he really fucking can. That's a ridiculous thing to say. He's had a little bad run of form, but to say he can't cross well is silly. Andrew Robertson has a fantastic left foot. Di Maria looks like Dr. Spock, said Brian. Put him in the shop window, said Brian Morrissey. Wilson doesn't get a game in that Liverpool team at the moment, said Greg Duffy. Di Maria looks like Roland Rat. Oh. Thank you, Pragmaverts, mate. That was my bad. I should have done that a long time ago, buddy. As I said, sometimes I just forget stuff. But thank you for all your support, mate. I know you've been here a very long time. I do appreciate it. How much would Mbappe cost? Oh, God, I don't even want to guess at that one, Bernadette. I don't know, mate. I haven't got a clue. You'd have to be talking 300 million, wouldn't you, at this rate, the way football's going? Who do you think is better, Trent or Robbo? Robbo. But Trent is behind in his development because he's a few years younger. I think Trent will be the better player long term, but I think at this moment in time, Andy Robertson's a bit further along and a bit more developed. Andrew Robertson was released by Celtic at the same age as me. It broke my heart, but made him stronger. Total respect for the lad. Exactly. He didn't give up. He went, played non-league for a while, I think, didn't he? Or lower league in Scotland. Got his move, and eventually found his way to Liverpool Football Club. And it's a wonderful, wonderful story. So happy for him. Went to Hull, proved himself. Jurgen Klopp looked at him and said, you know what, I'll have me a bit of Andy Robertson, and what a signing he's been for our club. Tom Jones said we need a set piece specialist. I'd absolutely agree with that one, Tom. Vince, you don't support Liverpool, mate. Sorry, second, maybe third, fourth greatest team in the world. The mighty, mighty Liverpool, mate, are the best team in the world. Bants and all that. Do you think Neymar will leave because of the PSG failures? Fuck Neymar. That's my opinion on Neymar. Fuck Neymar. I absolutely despise that YouTube fraud of a footballer. Neymar is a gobshite. Honestly. Did anybody see Neymar's little rant, actually? Did anybody see his post on social media? I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you people who are on Instagram have seen this post. If you haven't, he basically went on a foul-mouthed tirade after the game last night, saying that 4 people who haven't got a clue about football were in charge of VAR, and he said something like "fuck you" or something along those lines. He just showed what a petulant, spoiled little fucker that he is. So Neymar is. I have nothing good to say about Neymar. Nothing good whatsoever to say about that lad. De Ligt is a monster. Would love him next to VVD, said Morton. Do you think Dejan Lovren will leave in the summer? I think I would move out him and Matip, Douglas James, mate, if I'm being honest. Do I think he'll leave? I think one of them will leave, but I don't know which one. But again, I'm just guessing. I have absolutely no idea. What do you think, Douglas James? Do you think he'll leave? What do you think of Ward-Prowse from Southampton? I haven't seen enough Southampton games to give an honest opinion of him. Yeah, I very rarely watch Southampton, so I don't watch England's games either, so I haven't seen too much of them. Rather Gomez over De Ligt. Why not have both though, mate? Go to 3 at the back. That would be. I've always thought Liverpool would be brilliant with 3 at the back if we had a De Ligt, a Gomez, a Van Dijk to play in that 3. Neymar tried to attack the ref. Yeah, he got down on the sideline. He's no fucking business being at the side of that field, by the way. Neymar was up in the stands. He wasn't part of the Paris Saint-Germain matchday squad. He had absolutely no business being where he was last night. None whatsoever. He should have been told to get back up to the stands by the officials. He had no business being there. He wasn't part of the matchday squad. He wasn't part of the training squad. He had fuck all business being at the side of that pitch at the end of the match. It's all those poodle pills he's taken, said Rod. Who do I follow in Ireland? Who do I follow? Who do you follow Ireland in international football? I don't really watch much international football. Of course, I watch some Ireland games, but I'm not a fan of international football in general, mate, to be honest. Would you take Tadic as a number 10? No, he's 31. Somebody pointed that out to me yesterday. We ain't getting De Ligt, said Brian Morrissey. I don't think we are either, mate. I don't think we're going to sign a centre-back of any massive ilk. It'll probably be a decent level centre-back maybe if we do bring one in. But look, let's just wait and see. I have no idea who Liverpool are bringing in, but I'm very confident on Timo Werner. I've said that for a while. But other than that, I have no idea. Neymar is a truly blessed footballer, but he's the attitude and brain of an amoeba. Gobshite, said Claire. Problem is, Craig, if you got 3 at the back, you realistically need 5 really good centre backs. That's a fair show, mate. It is, absolutely. Yeah, you do. You need at least 5, probably. It's a fair point. It was amazing against Real Madrid, no question whatsoever about it. He was given a 10 by most football magazines and websites, which is very unusual. So from to get that 10, you know, we put in a very good performance. I think, was it L'Equipe or somebody like that? It was only the 8th or 10th person that's ever gotten a 10 out of 10. Neymar doesn't like VAR because you can't flip-flop around the pitch. Well, I can't read that last bit, mate. I'd love to, but I can't read that out. Neymar, Mourinho in the same team next season. Sit back and enjoy the circus. Is Mourinho not going to back to Real Madrid, though? Wasn't he not linked to go back to Real Madrid? Did you see that Di Francesco was given the sack today by Roma, and it looks like Claudio Ranieri might be going to take over there? Actually, it looks like very much so like Claudio Ranieri is going to take over at Roma. De Ligt will go to Barcelona. Do they have the money from Jack? That's what I'm wondering, mate, because obviously we know that they signed the kid from Ajax, De Jong. If they go and sign De Ligt, then they're looking at another 70-75 million, and they still have to address the midfield situation or the front 3. So I don't know if they have the money. If you look into Barcelona's finances, mate, they aren't exactly printing money at this moment in time. They're struggling to keep up with their wage bill. Liverpool going to win the league, said Luke Farmer. Mick McCarthy's trying to get Patrick Bamford to declare for Ireland. So Brian Morrissey, interesting. Rod, you've lost me with the stream question mark. I'm gone, mate. You've lost me. I don't know what that's about. Tadic wasn't that good at Southampton. which he wasn't, to be fair. He was alright. He played average. Never really stood out as one of the best players in the league. There's at least a dozen Premier League clubs are demanding action to be taken against City. It's music to my ears, Pranav, mate. It really is. I've been shiting on about this for a very, very long time. About the Der Spiegel articles about Manchester City and the fact that they're financially doping, allegedly. The fact that they're allegedly taking the piss out of Premier League teams with the way, and European clubs, about the way they're going about hiding money, their sponsorship deals, their image rights, lots of other bits and pieces as well. And I really hope that they dig deep and that they find what they need to find here, UEFA, and that there's no interference, there's no leaning on them, that they actually have a proper run at this and give a full detailed account of what they're going to do to them, because if any of that stuff is true, then they should be absolutely screwed to the wall. How do you feel about a salary cap? I don't know if it's enforceable, mate. I really don't think it is enforceable, because you have a salary cap. How do you cap it? Like, for instance, FFP isn't working. So there's a salary cap. Is it a flat cap across the clubs? If it isn't, if it's to do with the revenue, then the revenue will just be, the numbers will be massaged like they are doing now in FFP. So I think a salary cap just won't work. Again, but I have a very basic understanding of football finances, Aaron, so don't take anything I say as gospel. If Tadic was good at Southampton, Poole would have signed him. But again, he's 31 though. Louis said, breaking. At least a dozen top-flight Premier League clubs are planning to write to the Premier League to ask if they can tend to take action over the alleged breaches of financial fair play by Manchester City. Oh, I can't tell you how much I enjoyed reading that, Louis. I'm going to read it again because it was so fucking sexy. At least a dozen top-flight clubs are planning to write to the Premier League to ask what action they intend to take over the alleged breaches of financial fair play by Manchester City. Ah, how sweet is that? Anyway, ladies and gents, we are moving towards the end of tonight's stream. I'm just checking if I've any... Oh, Virgil van Dijk was announced, or today announced, the Standard Charter Player of the Month for February. So we know he won the Premier League Player of the Month. He's also won the Standard Charter Player of the Month. So congratulations to him on that one. Last chance, guys, to subscribe to the channel before we head off tonight. Please do hit that button and help us on the road to 10k. We're 370 odd subscribers away. We're 1 year old next week and we'd love to get there before that. Also, by subscribing, you go into the draw to win that John Barnes image that you can see there. It's a signed A4 John Barnes photo. We'll announce the winner after the Bayern Munich game next Wednesday, and we'll post that one out to you if you win it. And I should say, entry's open to everybody, by the way. You can enter absolutely anywhere in the world, and we'll post it out to you. I fucking enjoyed reading that, to be fair. For the source was the Times Sport. Thank you, Louis. It's always good to give credit, by the way, if we do pull anything from a particular website, because people are employed and spend their time writing these articles. The very least we can do if we do take information is give them the credit, because they deserve it. So it was Times Sport, as Louis said, for that one at Manchester City. Great chat tonight, said Bernadette Farrell. Thank you, mate. I really enjoyed. And again, guys, if I seemed a little bit off tonight, I apologise. The start of that stream, it got to me, I'm not going to lie. It was difficult to go through. I spent the day going back and forth to Connor about this. When I found out about it, I really was fucking angry. Like, it's sad. I don't want Air Sport going in that direction. I know you guys don't as well. Anyway, thank you so much to everybody, as always, that tuned in, that subscribed for the first time, that gave us their comments, their feedback. We do appreciate it. And we're a young channel, we're still growing, but we're always going to try our best to respect what you guys want. So thank you so much for all your support. As I'm going to end as I always do. Look after your families, tell your loved ones that you love them, and up the motherfucking Reds.